This is week 5. Does it seem like becoming a non-smoker is happening faster than you ever imagined? Can you believe it? For many of you, this is the first time in your life that you have not picked up a cigarette when you felt threatened. You've learned to trust your alternate source of nicotine. Others of you may have had some difficulties. If you've not totally eliminated cigarettes from your life by now, don't give up. Remember, becoming a non-smoker is a process, not a discrete event. Identify where and why you may have stumbled, then get a new sense of commitment and follow the Clayton method.
In the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey suggests a behavior we can practice to become more effective. That behavior is make a series of small promises to yourself and keep them. We all seem better at keeping promises to others than to ourselves. You are important. Treat yourself with respect.
To illustrate what he is suggesting, Covey describes the difference between 2 important words, honesty and integrity. Honesty is making your words consistent with your behavior. Integrity is making your behavior consistent with your words.
To implement what Covey suggests, try saying to yourself, just silently to yourself, or even better out loud, I am better off as a non-smoker. Then promise yourself you will not smoke tomorrow. Make your behavior consistent with your words. Repeat that same promise the next day and keep it. Soon, you will consider yourself a person of integrity who deserves better than sucking on a burning tube of tobacco that fills your lungs with smoke and releases over 7,000 gases, including carbon monoxide.
Some of you are getting close to complete success. You're almost there, but not quite. Perhaps you're smoking an occasional cigarette. You can make it to the next step by making a commitment and a promise to yourself, I will get absolutely no nicotine from cigarettes. This is what we suggest.
When the thought of a cigarette occurs and you are tempted to say just one, say out loud to yourself, I don't do that anymore. Then just get busy. Boredom is not your friend. If you get really busy, you can avoid the trap of reaching for that cigarette and lighting it. When that happens, you send a bolus of nicotine to the brain. That bolus of nicotine is unlike the steady stream of nicotine delivered by the patch, lozenge, or gum. That bolus will fan all those memories created by years of smoking. Your best bet for ultimate success is to resist the temptation to have just one cigarette.
In the last session, we talked about the importance of exercise as a healthy component of the Clayton method to becoming a non-smoker. Because most of us don't do hard physical labor, we don't get enough exercise to really keep our bodies in good condition. As we mentioned, when you are in really good physical condition, your body weight is composed of 40% muscle. That muscle 40% consumes over 90% of the calories you burn each day. Your goal must therefore be to increase muscle mass and decrease body fat content.
We urge you to do 40 minutes of walking each day if that's the exercise that you have chosen to keep fit. You must be able to talk while doing exercise. That proves that you're providing enough oxygen so your body can metabolize fat.
Someone usually asks the question, aren't there any other ways for me to control weight? What if I go on a starvation diet? This is an interesting question, but the answer is quite simple. Starvation diets do nothing but get us into trouble.
Muscles will burn either fat or glucose. The brain will only burn glucose. When you go on a starvation diet, you force the body to break down protein to make glucose to feed the brain. The body continues to break down protein to make glucose until it feels threatened by the buildup of nitrogen. The metabolism then slows down. When you finally break over and start eating regular portions, you get a rebound effect. You end up weighing more than you did when you started the diet process.
So let's talk about a common sense approach to be more selective about the food you take into your body. Instead of talking about tuning the engine, as we did in the last session, let's talk about filtering the fuel, the food that goes into the body, the engine. You're tuning the machine through exercise, and now you want to filter the fuel that goes into the machine, your body.
Some rules you need to remember about the food you put into the body are: 1, you want fuel that is low in fat, and 2, you want fuel that is high in fiber. Let us show you how this works. If your target weight is 150 pounds, 10 calories per pound will keep you in equilibrium. You should not gain or lose weight at that caloric intake. If you get on a treadmill or walk outside 5 days a week for 40 minutes, you will burn off 200 calories each day. You need to provide energy for that walk. Therefore, your total caloric intake to maintain your weight at 150 pounds is 1,700 calories. That's 10 calories per pound plus 200 calories to provide the energy for the walking. That's a total of 1,700 calories per day. That puts you at maintenance level. You should neither gain nor lose weight at a maintenance level.
Your daily activities become a part of your exercise program. You will limit your fat intake to 30% of the 1,700 calories, or 510 calories, slightly over 55 grams of fat.
Let us go one step further. Covert Bailey wrote an interesting book called The Fit or Fat Target Diet. He did something that will help you remember what to do. Your goal should be to eat foods near the center of the target. As you go from the center of the target out, the fat content is increasing. As you go from the center out, the amount of fiber is decreasing.
Let's look first at milk products. In the center is skim milk. Let's go to the other extreme. Let's look at butter. Butter is 100% pure fat. What lies between those? Light cheese at 4 grams of fat per ounce, low-fat ice cream with 8 grams of fat per cup, 1% milk with 2 grams of fat per cup. You choose along the continuum based on how much fat you can have, staying within your goal of 30% of total calories from fat.
Now let's talk about vegetables. This is the best news of all. You can eat almost all fruits and vegetables. You can get fiber without getting any fat. Olives are the exception. 3 ripe olives contain 2.6 grams of fat.
Let's look at meat products. What is in the center of the target? Let's put beans in with the meat because beans are also a source of protein and contain little, if any, fat. White fish falls near the center of the target. Tuna in water has only 1.75 grams of fat per 3.5 ounce serving. Eye of round beef has only 4 grams of fat per 3.5 ounce serving. Pink salmon has 7.8 grams of fat per 3.5 ounce serving.
Now let's look at grains. What falls in the center? The whole wheats are in the middle. Rice, spaghetti a little further out. White breads fall even further out from the center. Your goal should be to eat in the center of the target area. The more you stay in the center of the target, the more you're able to control your fat intake and to increase fiber in your diet.
The average weight gain of people going through the Cooper-Clayton method to stop smoking has been something like 3 to 5 pounds.
Those who start exercising, especially walking 40 minutes per day, seldom have a problem with weight gain. Be selective in what you eat. Read the ends of boxes.
One of the most important things you can do is look at what you're putting in your body. Be careful that you also check the serving size listed. One product says, serving size 1 cookie. Who's going to eat only 1 cookie?
If the box doesn't list fat content, there's a reason. Don't buy it. Also, be aware that some foods have reduced the fat and tripled the carbohydrate. The caloric count is higher than before.
One type of place to avoid is fast food restaurants. They are now required to post information. A bacon double cheeseburger has 45 grams of fat and 800 calories.
You can have some meat if you choose, but instead of eating chuck roast, which is high fat, eat eye of the round, which is very low fat. Instead of eating pork chops, eat pork tenderloin. You may not believe this, but a 3.5 ounce serving of pork tenderloin has less fat than a 3.5 ounce serving of turkey breast.
Weight gain is usually a concern when you become a non-smoker. When you stop smoking, your metabolic rate slows down. However, there are some precautions you can take. First, recognize that the average size dinner plate has increased over the past several decades by 1 1/2 inches. We use visual information to determine what a normal amount of food is. Don't fill the entire space on the plate available with food. With this in mind, commit to reducing your daily or meal-specific food intake.
Second, you can stop eating before you're full. Waiting for a sense of fullness is a dangerous way to determine how much to eat. Perhaps you can share a restaurant meal with your spouse, significant other, or friend.
Third, you can take twice as long to eat. Chewing longer gives you more time to enjoy the taste of your food. It also has the benefit of allowing you more time to visit with the other folks at the table.
Fourth, you can increase the amount of water you drink with your food. Discipline yourself to never eat on the run. Always force yourself to sit down to eat and allow yourself enough time so that your eating is not rushed. You will be less likely to overeat. Finally, don't skip meals. You risk eating high sugar, high fat snacks when you skip meals. Smokers are notorious about skipping meals, particularly breakfast.
If you're having more than minimal trouble with weight gain, you may need to seek some nutritional counseling that goes beyond what you're getting in the Cooper-Clayton method sessions. Remember, the primary purpose of this program is to help you become a non-smoker. A secondary goal is to minimize problems with weight gain as you make the transition from smoker to non-smoker.
Let me illustrate what we've been talking about with a couple of objects. If I have an apple in this hand and a candy bar in this hand, and I get a little low on blood sugar and I eat the candy bar, that's 14 grams of fat. Or I can eat the apple that has 0 grams of fat.
For a snack, I can eat 1 ounce of potato chips and get 10 grams of fat, or 1 ounce of pretzels and get only 1 gram of fat.
Remember, use only the alternate nicotine source as your source of nicotine. The brain will accept this new way of getting nicotine, and you will retrain the brain to accept less and less nicotine over a period of time. Those of you using the Nicoderm CQ, continue to use the amount you used the past week. Those of you using either the Commit lozenge or the 4 milligram Nicorette, drop an additional piece each day this next week, but continue using the other pieces.
Many of you, for the first time in your life, have been off of cigarettes for 4 weeks. You're taking control of one aspect of your life. You're taking control of cigarettes. I urge you, look around and find other things in your life that you want to change, like including exercise, being more strategic in what and how you eat, and using the LARC approach to control the stress in your life. Becoming a non-smoker is clearly one important aspect of improving the quality of your life in other areas. Take control.